everyone, and welcome to Heart and Hand Extra. My name's David Edgar, I'm your host, and I'm joined this week by Heart and Hand's very own tactical genius. It's Mr. Adam Thornton. Hello, Adam.
Hello, David. How you doing?
I'm okay, a little frustrated after watching Rangers go to Easter Road and play really well. Now, I watched the game, I wasn't at it, you were, but I watched it last night and then watched it again this morning with the benefit of obviously knowing the result, not having the tension, and just being able to appreciate it for what it was. And in all honesty, Adam, that's Rangers' best away performance of the season. We have played significantly worse against worse teams and not got not drop points, but we go there to Easter Road, tough match. We were all expecting it especially after their performance on Sunday, and yet Rangers set up, I thought, ideally for the opening 20 minutes. They correctly, in my opinion, braced themselves for what I thought, and obviously Rangers did as well, would be Hibs flying out the traps. When they realised that wasn't happening, they took control of the match for 70 minutes, utterly dominated, and really, apart from some wayward finishing, would have and should have had the 3 points.
Yeah, totally agree. It was by far the best away performance of the season. It's not exactly saying much. We've not been fantastic away from home, but we were really good. This was up there with certainly the best of the performances that we've had in total this season. It was weird. We kind of have had a wee bit of a step change in the last couple of weeks. We've been firing loads of balls into the box. We didn't really do that as much last night. It was back to more the kind of play that we had in the Hearts and Rapid games that we always reference at the kind of round about September, October time. We created a buttload of chances, and unfortunately we just couldn't quite get it over the line. It was completely different to Dundee, where we had a lot of the ball. We didn't really create anything. It was a bit of a role reversal, but we're still just lacking that killer touch. There's
two ways to look at this match, and I think they're both valid. The first one is you look at it for what it was, an individual match. Rangers away to a tough away ground against a side that don't like us, and played really well and dominated it, and we're unfortunate. And if you look at it from that one-off perspective, then that, I think, is a reasonable conclusion. However, we do need to look at it in the context of the season as well. I think you can do both. And in the context of the season, it's another away performance that we didn't get 3 points, and 1 goal from open play in 7 matches is a damning statistic. There's no getting away from that.
No, it is damning. I actually hadn't realised until we got to the Hamilton game that we had been quite as poor in terms of converting. I think we're still joint top of the goals scored in the league with 39 along with Celtic, but it has dried up in the last couple of months. I was nervous going into this game, but I was probably less nervous than I had been against, say, Hamilton, because as I've been saying on the tactics show for quite a while, we're set up as a counter-attacking team, and it's quite strange because we're set up like that way, but anyone who plays against us isn't going to let us counter-attack, so that's kind of where we have a bit of an issue. But when we do have games like last night, we can really bring out the best in ourselves. We didn't even have the lion's share of possession last night. We had 52. I mean, it's just over half, but a lot less than we've had in recent games. We just really, really, really need to start turning this into goals, because Tav could have had a hat-trick last night. Morelos could have had at least a hat-trick. We just need to start finishing teams off.
I think the other side to look at, though, is yes, we were playing a team that we thought will get a bit more space because they'll come out against us, and they did in the first half, but they didn't in the second. In the second half, I thought they were tired. They looked tired, Hibs. They were blowing at their arse at the end, and they sat in. And we did have the 2 banks of 4. But the difference was, last night, that instead of doing what we've been doing recently, which is nobody taking responsibility and the ball being worked from midfield to wide and crossed, from midfield to wide and crossed, there was incision in our play, and a lot of it came from Alfredo Morelos, with some brilliant play, particularly the 2 shots he put wide in the second half, he created himself. And on top of that, there were some lovely passing movements, forward passing movements from Rangers. The Tavernier chance is probably the best example of that. It was as if Rangers last night remembered the way to play football in Scotland, as opposed to, as I say, this lazy and somewhat, let's be honest, kind of ballless performance where it's just, I don't want to take the responsibility. Last night they took the responsibility and, okay, didn't get the result. Very frustrating. We'll talk about finishers. But I enjoyed watching Rangers away from home for probably the first time this season. That was the first time when I thought, yes, I want you to play like that. That's okay. And being a kind of glass half full type of guy, if we play like that going forward, we will end up smashing a few teams.
We will, but then I'm glass half full as well, but we've not shown any kind of consistency that makes us think we can go on a run and do that. We do that against these type of teams, and we struggle against teams that I know you're saying that Hibs sat in the second half. They did, but they never sat in to the extent that say Dundee did, and make us break down. We were still fighting.
Do you think? But I mean, the last half hour they put the Boyle up front, and really it was just a back row of four in front of them, and trying to hit the ball long for him.
It's kind of interesting as well, like the narrative of it. Louis, you never at any point, I personally never at any point felt like we were just hammering balls into the box, or I was begging that we never put Lafferty on, because I thought that would have killed it stone dead, because we would have just started lumping balls into the box. So I was quite happy from that point of view that we just kind of kept trying to play our game, and it never came off. And these games, this period of games that we're in just now, are literally all about trying to get as many points as we can. Performances are quite secondary. I'm hoping that we take stock in January and we look at the first, what will that be, 38 games or so of the season, and figure out who we're doing well against, who we're not doing well against, what we need to change, who we need to recruit, how we need to start adapting to play these different types of teams, and also get a bit of reinforcement in there up top so that we're not so reliant on Morelos, because if he's having an off night, he didn't have an off night in terms of performance last night, but he had an off night in terms of finishing, that we have someone else who can step up and help out.
Yeah, I think that is a key point. That my concern with the team is that I don't see in the squad currently the guys who are going to do that. I think we desperately need an injection of quality into the side. We know that. I think we desperately need an injection into the midfield and another attacker to take the burden off Morelos, because as you mentioned last night, I wasn't screaming to get Lafferty on, and that's, that you should be. If you're desperately chasing a goal and you're battering the opposition, you should want the striker on. And I think that his form, unfortunately, recently being what it's been, I agree with you. I think if we'd put him on, we would just have started hitting it long. But let's look at a couple of the individual performances now. We'll start with Alfie, because you mentioned him. 10 out of 10 for everything except finishing last night.
Pretty much, yeah. He was phenomenal. I obviously noticed him more in the second half as it was right in front of me, but that little spin he's doing to beat men, and when they come down the side and he does that little flick with his boot to flip it on his opposite side.
That was lovely.
He's unplayable in those. He seems to be doing that quite a lot, and defenders just can't really quite seem to get it. He's unplayable in those situations. It's just the consistent finishing that's letting him down. But if he keeps playing like that and getting those chances in big games, eventually he's going to get one. Last night, like I said, he could have had a hat trick easily. He didn't have anything that I felt was an absolute open goal sitter. Some of them were quite difficult. He was maybe imbalanced, so he had to take it quickly. But the one in particular in the first half that I think he should have done a bit better with was the one where Ambrose, I think, gifts it to him.
Yeah, the second
he's running
one.
In, and he just hits it straight at the keeper when really you should go across him. But we can't be too critical of him. I can't ignore his negatives, but at the same time his positives just hugely outweigh it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. But the other main positives for me were, first of all, Ryan Jack with maybe his best performance for Rangers. I thought he utterly dominated the midfield, and all the things that I sometimes feel he lacks, which dynamism, that moving the ball forward quickly, he did that last night. He just looked a much more confident and rounded player last night, and that to me is, yep, you can make that position your own if you give us that every week, as opposed to when perhaps he's maybe not so confident and we get the I'll be neat and tidy but I don't want to take any risks in case I get into trouble.
Yeah, so as you know, I've been quite a big critic of Jack as well over the last couple of months. I just don't feel like in most games we need a player like him. Against Hamilton, against Dundee, I feel like it's unnecessary. He slows the ball down, he keeps it simple. he's neat and tidy, but we need more incision in there. We need McCrory sitting in there, or even Koulibaly. But last night he was, I would say he was phenomenal. Definitely up there with his top 2 or 3 performances of the season. Playing a little bit deeper than he's played in the last couple of weeks, maybe that helps him. He's never going to be a box-to-box midfielder. I don't think he's got the engine for it, first of all, but he's not got the kind of creativity or the drive to get up there and support the strikers. So for me, I thought he was fantastic, and I was really surprised. Another one to pick out, I'm sure you're going to do it anyway, but when Ross McCrory came on as well, I thought he was terrific. I thought he was everywhere. He could have been a little bit. I felt it was very hard done by to not start the game. But I was really, really pleased with his reaction. His head didn't drop, and he came back on and he was outstanding. So that's really positive for him as well from a setback point of view. He can take that knock of not starting after playing really, really well, and indeed getting pulled off against Hamilton too, and come back in and deliver something like that.
I thought he was tremendous. So did the manager. The manager singled him out for praise afterwards. He was fantastic. What I like about McCrory is when he wins, he goes looking to win the ball, but when he wins it, he gives it forward all the time and just starts off moves. And a great display from both of them. And the one that's got me quite excited, because I thought he played well at the weekend. I thought he stepped it up again last night on the comeback trail, and that's Borna Barisic, who obviously has had an injury-blighted start to his time at Rangers. But firstly, we just look so much more balanced when we've got him in the team, because a proper left back. He links up well with Grezda, who again I thought did well back the way, but unfortunately nothing at all really going forward. But that's for another discussion. But Barisic was excellent, and I thought at the time we've won a watch with this guy, and then obviously injury got in the way. But I think we get this guy fit and playing. Adam, he's a star.
Yeah, that injury must have, I think we said at the game last week, that injury must have been impacted before he went off, because he started quite well, Motherwell in a couple of other games, but then he dipped a little bit and was kind of playing within himself. But now he's back to what we've seen against us, and in those first couple of games, I thought he was brilliant. Like you said, he offers so much more balance. He's not quite as marauding as Tav on the other side in terms of linking up with say Morelos, or getting ahead of Morelos and scoring, etc. But he's got equally as good a delivery, probably a bit more consistent than Tav's, and I would say he's a bit better defensively than him. So it's an interesting comparison. They're both very, very attacking. It's going to be interesting to see how we use them. But for me, having both of them back shows our flaws a little bit further forward. I think Grezda is doing okay. I think there's an argument that for the money outlaid, he could be doing a bit better, but I understand there's some caveats in terms of injury and getting back into the team, etc. So I'm willing to give him another couple of months before really, really judging him. But for me, it's kind of showing that if you're playing Barisic and you're playing Tav, and I think Candace is stick on for the right hand side, we really need someone like Grezda or Kent on the left, or someone who we spoke about before that we're really hugely missing is Jamie Murphy. I'd be really, really intrigued to see Barisic and Murphy on that left hand side as a combination. I think that's got everything. That's got pace, delivery, incisiveness, someone that can go inside, someone that can overlap on the outside. I think we're really, really missing that. But overall, I'm delighted that Barisic is back, and hopefully it opens the door a bit further forward.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we've had a tough time on that flank, obviously, with having to play, first of all, Flanagan, who's not left-footed, or Andy Aldi, who's not a full-back. And I think that you saw the difference that a player like that can make last night. Now, I spoke about a lot of good things. One goal from open play in 7 matches, Adam. It's not good enough. And it does make me wonder if in the next couple of matches we may see a slight shift, possibly to the 3-5-2 in an attempt to get on that extra attacker. I get that, but my concern is that I don't know if Morelos works at all with another striker. The evidence so far suggests that he doesn't, that he prefers either to play with someone off him or prefers to play with himself at the point of a 3. But Scott Arfield going out limits us, and I could easily see us switching to a 3-5-2 for certainly Sunday.
I think if we're going to do it, it would be Sunday. However, I think if we were going to do it again after the Motherwell game back in August, I think we'd have done it by now. So I would like it, particularly in games that you should be comfortable winners in, and I would class that, although St Johnstone are doing very, very well, I would class that if we want to get to where we want to be this season, we need to be going away and comfortably beating St Johnstone. I think that goes without saying. So I could see it happen. In the kind of theoretical sense, I think this would be a good game to do it. I'm just not sure he will, particularly on the back of how we played last night. I think he would be quite keen to play as many as possible this night and give them a run again and see if they can get going. I know Arfield's out, which is a blow, but we'll maybe see McCrory coming back in there and maybe either him or Jack pushed a little bit further forward, or maybe even Gresda moving into the middle and Middle and going left. Or even Lafferty, like you said. I completely agree with your thoughts on Morelos. I don't think a 4-4-2 would work for him. A 3-5-2 might work. I don't think it's him and Lafferty. I don't think that really works at all. I think it would need to be Morelos and then either Kent or Gresda or Arfield or another playing off of him, almost in a kind of number 10 or a number 10/false 9 type thing. I don't see Morelos playing with a bona fide partner because he would be impacted. He moves all over the pitch. Predominantly he moves on the right hand side, but last night he was over on the left. He just wouldn't really get the space to roam, and I feel like we need someone else in the kind of deeper area to support him rather than up top.
Now, the manager last night, there was 2 refereeing incidents that caused a bit of frustration among the Rangers support. The first was a tackle from a Hibs youngster, Ryan Porteous, who I think he's a good player, he's a really good player, and I think he's got a chance of making it at a much higher level. But some of the praise for him recently has been, he loves a tackle, and I think it's gone to his head a little bit. And I think he thinks that he needs to leap into every tackle like it's his last. Well, it should have been his last involvement last night, as an absolutely shocking tackle in the second half that somehow only brought a yellow from Craig Thompson. The manager highlighted that one, and in my opinion, correctly, Adam suggested if that's one of our players, he's off.
Oh, absolutely. It was a total leg breaker. It was cynical. It wasn't even particularly mistimed. He was just so late and just takes him apart, and it kind of took Koulibaly out of the game. I agree with you. I think he's really good. I think he's a bit better than other centre halves in the country that maybe get more praise. He looks like he's got a bit more to his game, but he does have that over-excited streak of I'm going to go and hammer into this tackle as hard as I can. It's maybe something that we've seen a little bit from McCrory when he was playing at centre half, and he's kind of moved out of there in defensive mid, and we've not seen it so much. Whether it's just eagerness of youth and wanting to make an impression, or whether he genuinely thinks he's a hard man, I'm not sure. But
I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both. I think the boys, clearly does like to tackle, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think people now picking it up. You know what it's like. The crowd are on him, and he's thinking, I know. It's an easy way to try and get a little. It gets the crowd on your side, doesn't it? Very quickly.
Yeah.
But you cannot be making tackles like that. It's a leg breaker, and again, it's not protecting footballers, which is what you absolutely have to do. And again, it's the double standard. The other one was the penalty incident. A Morelos shot from outside the box. The Hibs defender leaned into, I think, with his shoulder to try and shoulder it away, but it comes off his upper arm and goes out for a penalty. Now, Stephen Gerrard last night after the match said he didn't think it was a penalty. He thought it came off his shoulder. I must admit, I thought at the time, okay, yeah, maybe it did hit his shoulder, but having seen the replays, which the ref doesn't, let's be fair, the ref doesn't have access to, it was possibly a penalty. Rangers were fined £6,000 today due to their criticism of Willie Collum last month. Now, there is a problem, Adam, with Scottish referees. That's a fact. It's not about us specifically, although I do believe we are refereed to a different standard. There's a lot of factors go into that. But it's I think, a lazy defence from the SFA when they say, well, everybody criticises the refs, so they're doing something right. No, everybody criticises the referees because they're bad. And unless we do something about it to raise the standard, we're going to have this continually.
I think so, and to take last night's, I thought Craig Thompson was all right overall, but that's two glaring errors that he's missed, and I guess we're used to such a poor level that we can say, it was okay, he just missed a red card and a penalty for us. But at the game, I think I messaged you. I was quite directly in line with it, and it looked to me like he moves his hand up in that unnatural motion they call it as the reason for it. It did.
Well, no, it's a perfectly natural motion in this case. He wants to play the ball with his shoulder. There is intent, but if you do that and you get it wrong, which I think he did, and it hits his arm, then it's a penalty because you are trying to play the ball with that part of your body. You've brought your arm up to the ball. It's a penalty. But as I say, at the time I think I hit his shoulder. Again, I sometimes wonder if referees maybe should look at players' reactions, give themselves a second, because there's a difference in the way that players claim. I think that you can just tell when something's happened, and replays generally prove you right, don't they?
I think the whole shoulder thing really confuses me. Why I can't think in that situation why you would want to clear the ball with his shoulder. It would surely be it was just hitting off his shoulder. I can't think of a defender going in with the aim of clearing it with his shoulder.
No, he did. He leans into it with his shoulder. He's trying to play it away with his shoulder.
It's a strange one. I think it was still a penalty. Just whether he's aiming for that or not, it does hit him on the arm, and I think it was unfair to get it. But the wider point, I think, referees it's almost getting to the point now where I don't even react, because it's every game the referee's being booed continually for a mistake he's made, or like you said, we're being refereed differently. The referees seem to just all agree with that now, and it's getting to the stage where we don't accept it particularly, but we're kind of resigned to the fact that we know that one bad challenge from us is probably going to result in a red card, specifically this season, and it's going to take us 2 or 3 pretty poor challenges in the box before we even get a penalty.
Okay then, Adam, we're off to Perth on Sunday. As you say, St Johnstone have been doing quite well, although a bad defeat for them at the weekend as they went down at home to Motherwell. They are a decent side, but I am expecting a level of performance like we saw last night, and I'm expecting us to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to. We got a bit of good luck last week with Hibs, or a bit of good fortune, I should say, with Hibs taking the win off Celtic, but we now desperately need to keep things as they are, I would say, going into the Celtic game at the end of the month. So we need, as if it was in any doubt, playing for Rangers, but we need 2 wins out of the next 2 games for sure. Okay,
give me your prediction.
I think we'll get I'm going to go 3-1. I think it's going to be one of these games where Morelos gets his shooting boots back on, and we go 3-1. I think, like you said, St Johnstone, that's just the first defeat there since the start of October. I think it's about 10 games, so they will still be relatively confident, but Motherwell beat them at home last week. There is no reason why we won't. I expect them to play their usual kind of 4-4-2, let us have the ball, and I think it might be difficult, but they'll still feel a wee bit gallous about it because of that good run, and maybe they'll come out a little bit and try in the first couple of minutes to exert their authority on the game. And I'm hopeful that we get that good start, that sometimes we get it quite a bit, and when we get it we settle down into the game, but when we don't get it we get very frantic. So I hope we get that really, really good start against them, and we get a goal and we can just settle into the game and see some more of the really good play that we've seen last night.
I agree. I'm going to go 2-0 for Rangers, and come on, Jers, goal in either half, just nice and clinical. Let's get this one put away. Okay, folks, thank you very much for listening to us. Now, we won't be here on Christmas Eve. We will be back on the following Thursday, the 27th, after the Boxing Day match against Hibs, where we'll cover both the St Johnstone and the Hibs matches. But I'm afraid real life intrudes, so no Christmas Eve show, but we will be back later that week. However, you don't need to miss us for that period. You just need to go to our Patreon site, which is patreon.com/heart and hand, where you will find a whole range of shows, including Adam's tactical breakdown of each show, where he gets in some tactics experts from around the world to discuss what Rangers are doing. Very, very entertaining show. There's tons of content like that. They're just $1.99 per month, and that's patreon.com/heart and hand. All that it means for me to do then is to thank our executive producers in London, Mr. Mike Lee and Paul Miles, and to thank my guest, the lovely Mr. Adam Thornton.
Cheers, David. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for listening, folks, and we'll talk to you again on the 27th. Until then, take care. Cheers. Bye.